Welcome back to another episode of The Rise and Growing Together with me, Billy, and me, Charlotte. Welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
How are we?
It's good. I'm good. Are you good?
I'm great, but not going to lie.
I wondered that you were going to answer that. Then I
am great, but I am lagging a little bit, not going to lie. I am, yes.
But,
tired.
However...
Pick your shoes.
Sorry, I am just going to take my shoes off.
Get comfy.
That's me.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I've just come off a heavy non-stop week. So yeah, I'm kind of like, glad it's the weekend.
Work-wise, obviously.
Work-wise, well, it started off actually with a bit of a personal trip. So me and Liam went to Barcelona, or north of Barcelona. So we flew Alicante to Barcelona and got a hire car. We drove about an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours north of Barcelona.
Wow, that's very nice.
So
trippy, isn't it?
Yeah, well, like you say, it ended up being because a friend of mine that I went to college with, her husband's got an Airbnb property up there.
Oh, wow.
And we met obviously at college in Portsmouth, but the last couple of years she's lived in the Cayman Islands. So obviously we don't get to see each other a lot. And they planned to come to obviously his property, and loads of family were visiting. So she was like, "Oh, do you guys want to come and try and line up and catch?" So yeah, we had it planned for about 6 months, which is really nice.
It looked really nice. It looked, like just a nice little coupley weekend stroll around place. You know what I mean?
Because we were actually deciding, do we take the boys, do we not take the boys? Because they were like, bring the family, don't bring family. There's spades, whatever you guys want. And for a while, I was like, we'll take the boys. And then it was like, right, how are we actually going to get there? Right, are we going to train it, which is like, I think 2-3 trains? Or are we going to fly and then hire a car or train it? Or are we going to drive? And then that's quite long. So, yeah, by the time we decided, I was like...
It's more of an act.
It's more of an act.
And it's not as fun for them.
It was, in the end, I'm so glad we didn't. I know that we would have probably adjusted what we did there if the boys had been there. But... it was really nice to do what we ended up doing. And obviously, we just done that big holiday figure all together. So it was nice for me and Lou to have a couple of nights. We went for 3 nights as well. I nearly done 2, but I was like, you know what? We'll do 3. We'll get there in the evening after work on Thursday. And then we'll have all of Friday, all of Saturday. Yeah. And then we knew that we were coming back quite early and we didn't really have the Sunday. So yeah, it was really, really nice. Really like... it's quite Frenchy up there, because it's really close to the border.
Oh, yeah.
So it's, I'm going to butcher it, Catalan, I think, where it's quite Frenchy Spanish. So all the words on all the signposts have like funny symbols on, like Frenchy. They don't speak the same Spanish that we speak.
Wow.
So, yeah, so, like you go to a restaurant, some people understand you no problem, but some people don't. It's like, I'm in Spain, but they don't know what I'm getting. And I'd never heard of this place. A few people I've spoke to have like, I've heard of that place. It's lovely. But it was really authentic, like Mediterranean.
It looked.
Yeah, we were like on a bit of like the side of a mountain. His house was like on a cliff. The views were like stunning. Yeah, just like across the whole mountain line, like down to the beach. And then we drove and we were in like a little proper Spanishy little town by the port, and like all cobble streets up hills, and it was really like
we're just walking around.
We just looked at little shops, and like I got a little necklace, and like funny enough, the next day she was like, because it's really hard to shop in the Cayman Islands, she's like, we have to fly to like Miami to go like clothes shopping.
Oh wow.
They do some stuff on the island but not everything. So she was like, there's this little shop, and last time I bought the whole shop. I really want to go before. So we went for a massive hike, like a 2-3 hour hike and lunch and stuff. So we
loved that day.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. We never really get to do that proper up, trekking in the side of the mountain thing. And we went for like a nice big lunch and back. So it was really good. Then we were like, right, we need to crack on before the shops closed. Yeah. So we rushed down literally 15 minutes before the shop closed. We found it. They stayed open for us. It was like this tiny little boutique place. But we bought. And it's funny, I picked up a pair of trousers. I picked up the top. She went, they're the exact same clothes that I bought the last time, but like a different shade of trouser and a different shade of top, but the same. So yeah, we bought like sandals, trousers, top, and it was funny because I had 3 things that I bought, and she kept looking, and as she kept looking, I kept looking, and then I was like, Liam, just buy that again. So I think we had like 3 different bills because I just kept adding things on.
Well, I like that, yeah.
And he's like, I just need to not check out yet, like, because I was like, just add this. So I ended up with a dress, a jacket, sandals, trousers, and a top. It was great. Really nice. Yeah, really, really
not
nice
often you
stuff.
get that much stuff in one shop nowadays. I don't think,
not even if I go to like the high street shops. So especially a little boutique one. And I would have blinked and walked straight past the shop.
Yeah.
I would have looked and thought there's nothing in that shop for me.
I love that though. Obviously they're not the locals, but they know the local area with having a property there. So having someone who's knowledgeable of somewhere like that.
Yeah.
I know it's just a shop, but still it's nice. Isn't it? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like the hike, doing the hikes and stuff like that.
Yeah. We took to like, really nice restaurants, and it was just easy, we just kind of rocked on and stuff. But no, it was really, really nice. Really nice to catch up with them and get to know her husband more, because we've not really had the opportunity to get to know her well. Yeah. So it was a really nice kind of little foursome holiday. So that was planned well in advance. Yes. And it was Liam's mum's birthday just before we left, her 60th. So it was like, right, just before we leave, it's a big family meal. Yeah. So we did that the day before going. And then with work, it was coming up to the time when we get the Spain team together and do like an in-person team training for like 1 to 2 days. So about a month ago, we chose those dates because we only had a couple of dates available for when people aren't on holiday and stuff. So it came at once. So then it was like, right, I'm in Barcelona, come back on the Sunday. Then the following Thursday, I've got the Spain team training. And then I was speaking to one of the guys from London that was coming over. And he was like, right, well, I need to go to Portugal to see the Portugal team. I think you should come to Portugal. And then I'll come from Portugal straight to Spain. So we'll do Portugal and Spain back to back. So I was like, okay. And then I was like, I really want to go, hold on a minute. Well, at the time I was like, oh yeah, sounds good. And then I was like, right, so I'm going Thursday to Sunday. I'll get back from literally flying into the airport on Sunday, go back on Monday to get another flight out to Portugal for 2 nights, come straight back. I got home about 7 o'clock in the evening, edited slides, finalised things, went to bed at like 11, 12 o'clock. Then I was up and going to the Spain team training for a whole day. Then the evening meal that we have. Then the following day we did team activity, which was really fun, and lunch.
Which is all right when you know you've got stuff coming. But at the same time, you know what I mean? You know you've got to do it and da-da-da-da. Obviously today, you know that it's like, right. Now we're done. About it's done and I smashed it out. Obviously. You know you've got it. You know it's coming. You know you've got to smash it out.
But obviously, usually I wouldn't have done a personal trip right before. Yeah. Now that was nice because like you recharge a little bit. Yeah. And I wouldn't necessarily have chosen 2 intense training sessions back to back, especially traveling.
The way everything.
It's just the way everything unfolded, which all worked out, and it was really great. And Portugal, it's the first time I've been to Portugal. Yeah. I've never been to Portugal before. No. And it's so close. It's actually not that easy to fly. So luckily, most of our teams in the Algarve, but we have recently acquired another company into the business, and they have a corporate office in Lisbon. So we made the Algarve guys drive to Lisbon, and I flew into Lisbon.
Because that was easier.
Because you can fly to Lisbon. But if they just said go to the Algarve, I can't fly to the Algarve. I would have had to have drove. Either drove there or drove to an airport far away. So that worked out. But that was lovely. That's a cool vibe city. Really nice. Yeah. Really pretty.
And the team there, have you ever met before?
Yeah. So
obviously you met most of the teams, but I know
some of them only online. Amazing. Yeah. So the corporate guys aren't really in my division anyway. So it was nice to meet them. And then the Portugal team, there's 4 of them. The regional manager for Portugal actually came from my old company, but I think we may or may not have crossed paths. I don't think we did. But he's been with us for probably about a year and a bit. So I'd met him at one of our other team trainings. But I had never met his team, who I've been training online.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, so I actually got to meet the 3 of them in person.
Which is nice.
Because you get a completely different vibe from someone when you actually meet them and you get talking to them. Yeah. So that was really nice. And like I say, we had a whole day team training. Went out for a lovely evening meal. I tried like lots of Portuguese things, which is always nice. I'm quite open to try things, but I'm rubbish at ordering. So I was like, right, guys, what should I order?
Help me.
Yeah. So that was really nice. And then the next day we had obviously a few drinks in the evening, a few wines. I don't really drink wine, so woke up with a headache, not hungover because I didn't have loads, but
maybe just that feeling of having wine,
feeling of dehydrating, knowing that I drank a bit. And then obviously we had training that morning before heading to the airport. Morning everyone. Yeah. But no, that was really good. And then straight into Spain team training, which was another full day, but that was 21 of us.
Oh, wow.
And there was a lot of us there. So a full day team training, which I ran the whole day's sessions. And obviously I'm the one who has to book all the hotels, book the reservations, book the dinner.
It's not just
luckily someone helped me with Portugal, but Spain I had to organise like where we're going to have lunch, where we're going to have dinner, where we're going to have lunch the next day. And the team activity, which is always really difficult because I've got a complete variety of ages, of abilities, of interests.
Yes, I can imagine.
And it's like the pressures on me.
The friends who are not more or less the same. Usually.
Exactly. It would be hard for us to pick a girls' thing activity to do. So to pick one for work, and it's like I want everyone to enjoy. I want everyone to have fun. So the pressure was a bit like leading up to these things. There was like loads of nervous energy, but no, it ended up being so much fun. I found this company that I think they go all over Spain. So you can use them for like corporate dues or even like friends, hen do, stag do's, whatever it is. So the woman actually flew down from Barcelona with all the equipment. So you basically you break up into teams, you have an iPad and you get a box of stuff. So there's like questions which you answer, so all different topics.
Yeah.
And that gives you money.
Okay.
Or you can do these exercises in this box, which is like Sudoku, word search, those kind of things to get money. Then with money, you pay for a challenge, and the challenge gets you points, and the people with the most points win. So like we're doing all these things, getting the money. Then it's like, right, book a challenge, right? We did a TikTok challenge. I was thinking of Lexi. I had to do this like dance move and the glasses had to fall down. And then we had to sing a Christmas carol for 20 seconds and dance to a video. Or we had to make like a jumping frog origami out of paper with like the instructions and stuff. So my team lost, which I'm fuming about. I am not a good loser. I was gutted, but we didn't strategize very well. But next time, that was actually a really fun activity because we've done a couple of escape rooms in the past. Yeah, and escape rooms are okay, but the trouble with that is like if you don't know or if you can't figure out the next step, you can't really progress. Yeah, so it's like everyone starts stressing. Then some people give up, and then you have to rely on other people. But this was like, right. We could all be doing stuff together differently at the same time, and it's like, right, can't do that one, fuck that, let's move on to the next one. Try and like do things.
Make a plan of how to go forward.
And then I was like, right, I can stack cups in 15 seconds. Video me. I was like, next one. So it was like, it was really, really fun. Like something I think we would all enjoy as well. So
but at the same time, like you say, every age, interest, whatever, can get involved and have fun, unless you really are like
unless you're boring. Unless you're boring. But no, we actually had a really good bunch of people, and everyone said they really, really enjoyed it. Like I say, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, it's like pressure's off. Everyone had good time. Everyone learned a lot as well, which is the main thing we do these things for. But no, now it's like I'm.
Yeah, and it's not only done, like I say, it's not only done. You feel it was good, and you've heard off others that they felt it was good, which is a win-win because this is your work and this is what
you care about. And actually, the roles feel quite new to me. And one activity that I did, which I didn't know if it would be really cheesy or not, but I was like, Spain team are all over Spain. We've got lots of different teams. We don't always come together a lot. So I really the whole emphasis for the training was let's learn how to be better at our jobs, but also let's really like connect with each other. Yeah. So I was like, I didn't know how this was going to go, but I was like, right, let's do compliment a colleague exercise at the very end of the day. And initially I was like, just going to do a compliment for someone, but then I knew some people would get some people wouldn't. So that's not really fair. So you have to compliment the person to the right of you. Yeah. So everybody had a compliment. Yeah. And if you wanted to write an additional one for someone, you can. Yeah. So I did it, and I made everyone read out their own compliment which was good. So everyone like got to not only read it themselves but share with the group.
That's nice.
So there were some really nice ones, and there were some funny ones as well, like "Oh, I love your suit, looking fly" kind of thing, or whatever.
But it's nice that your team can be like that between each other. I think it's so important that if you haven't got them good dynamics and bond or connection, I'm not saying you have to be best mates. No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just to get, like you said, to get to know each other. It helps. It's your everyday thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And especially in a sales environment. Now, in some companies, like you're all working together, you're supporting each other for like the good of the company, so it's easier to get along. Sales teams can be quite difficult because there's targets, there's pressure, there's things that overlap with each other. People can rub each other up the wrong way. Those kind of things happen in sales. It's just natural, and especially a company the size of ours. But it's nice to kind of bring that together and realize that everyone is good people. Like even if something's pissed you off, there's a way to just deal with it or move on from it. And
they find that maybe you've put them in that position and everyone in the team in that position, that if they don't feel, they can approach and say something.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
I think the worst thing comes when people stop talking and they talk about things to other people, and then things get worse or it gets more negative. Whereas if you were just to come straight up and be like, look, this has really annoyed me, can we just squash it and figure it out? Then it makes it better. And I think bringing everyone together really helps that, doing fun activities together. And, you know, a lot of even the training and the knowledge was like, right, so you're really good at this. This is something that you want to work on. You now know people in the room that you can reach out to. It's not just me. It's not just your manager. There's a whole room full of people that are really good at what they do. So share and work out. But yeah, the compliment one was nice because I actually was a little bit out of it because obviously I'm presenting.
Yeah.
So I kind of got missed in the compliment the person to your right. But then one lady clocked and was like, I'm going to do one for you. She's like, I love your hair. And then thank you. And then another guy wrote one for me as well. And he said, you're very knowledgeable and you are absolutely the right person to take this team and the company to the next level. So I was like, that's really nice.
I would have literally been like, yes, like that's
because everyone.
How do you feel like that? Because that's how I want to.
It's a bit of reassurance as well, a bit of nice feedback, and obviously, you know, I asked people, how did you find it? Did you enjoy it? And everyone's going to say it to my face. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, really liked it. Yeah, great. It's like, what do they really think? And no one's really going to have said that. Probably that comment to my face, even if they were thinking it, because it's not something they would naturally say to someone. You're the right person to take the
I'll be a bit freaked out.
Yeah, it's just not something that comes out naturally in a conversation. So no, that touched me. I was happy with that.
So how did you find? Obviously, what was it? A week? Is it a week? Work from home in a way.
Yeah.
Kids wise.
Yeah. I think I stayed at home 2 nights out of the entire week.
Yeah, which is quite a lot when we're used to being not being at home, should we say? But I suppose we are, aren't we?
Yeah.
We've worked well. I say again, we're not lucky. We are lucky, but we've worked hard
to get to
be put in the positions that we are. That we can be more present at home and choose and pick, you know, these things in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously, when it comes to these times when you've just got to do the grind a little bit more for that big time, like. Sometimes I've got to extend my diary, you know, and work more hours. It is what it is. Nothing's, you know, but I know that me personally, sometimes there's nothing wrong with them. They're absolutely fine. Yeah. It's just sometimes I feel like, I'm not going to be able to have lunch with them.
Yeah.
So they're fine.
I had lunch with them 300 days this year. But...
Yeah. And sometimes they don't even care, or sometimes, like you say, they might make a little comment like, what time are you working till today? And I'll maybe say just a few hours later than I normally would. They could just go, they don't really mean anything by it. They're just because they're used to that I'm home.
I got,
you know what I mean?
This morning.
Oh,
yeah. So Kaysen's so easygoing. Yeah, he loves being at home, and like I said, he's really not bothered. You know, if I'm going away, it's like, cool, I'm with Nanny, whatever.
Yeah, he's off. That's surprising.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he never said a comment like this before, so I was a bit like, But obviously he was with my mum for 3 nights when we were in Barcelona. And then obviously I come home for 1 night and I went straight to Portugal. And then Liam's been with them the whole time, like Portugal. And even though I was at home for the last 2 nights with Spain, I mean, I was up and out even at the hotel, setting things up from 8:30 in the morning. And then I come home, I got changed, and then I went back out for the team dinner. So I literally haven't really even seen them in the evenings. And
have given that time that they're used to, or you're used
exactly.
to. Usually when you
finish work,
cool. But you knew that this wasn't switching off yet.
This wasn't a week that I could do that. And like you say, you know, if you overthink it, it can make you feel bad. But they dropped me to the hotel where we were hosting everything on his way to school the last 2 mornings. So he dropped me yesterday, no problem. And then we went this morning and we were literally just pulling up and he was like, why are you working so much? I haven't seen you. I don't get to spend any time with you. I was like, you just stabbed me in the heart.
I would like to down into that falling. You know, like that feeling.
I actually got a lump in my throat. And I went, it's Friday. I went, I'll be done when you finish school and we can spend the whole weekend together. I mean,
like they go without.
Yeah. Like he walked in from school. Mom, can I play PlayStation?
Yeah, exactly. This is what I was exactly that.
In that moment, it like stabbed me in the heart.
You can literally quit your job forever, kind of thing. Like, that's it. I'm never doing it again. I'm never working again. I'm never being away from you. Literally, you get that feeling, don't you? Oh, that just surprised me.
It shocked me. I think that's probably where it come from. And I was like, gutting. But like you say, you know, we're fortunate that I'm loving the work that I'm doing, that I have the 4-day week now, like I say, because I grinded for 50 years to get to this point. But also...
you're still passionate about being successful, and that doesn't mean that because we're where we are, the same as me, that we stop. I still want to be on new courses and learning new different ways of stuff, the way that you still want to bring in different ways of getting your team nailed or training them in different ways, you know, coaching them in how to be better at their job or better people, or you know, taking on the task of whatever they've got in the company. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, just because we have got to where we've got, let's just say that for us,
we're not at the top.
No, we're not.
Or we're not where we
want to be. Even if you are, you'd never really stop in a way. But I think it's just the balance of sometimes, we're going to have to not do where, you know.
Yeah. Well, like I say, we're very happy with where we're at. It's not like I'm really striving for the next thing like I was maybe like 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with it now. But like there's still loads of things that I want to do. There's still more like opportunities even within this role, like what I want to do. By all means, I mean, there's
it's probably definitely just the beginning, but
I think with us we're always going to want to grow.
At times, you know, and for the kids, for me, it's for the kids to understand that sometimes I have to go away and do this work, you know, or be there longer, or whatever, or be out of the, you know, to go and sit in my room for an hour or two just to organise different stuff, because that's what you have to do. You know what I mean? It is.
And I have started to say to Casey, no, I've got to go to work. I've got to earn money. But then I actually corrected myself because I was like, that's important. Like, he knows that. But I enjoy my work. Like, it's for me. And I've never really heard people say that. It's like, oh, mummy's got to work for money.
Yeah, it's like a trap,
like an exchange, you know, you've got to work to get money. And it's like, that's not the only reason that you should work. So I caught myself in that, and like, it's for money. We can't do all these things and live where we live and all the, you know, if we didn't work. But it's also about like having something that you enjoy doing.
Exactly.
And what, you know, and there's this Lego thing at the moment he wants to buy because Liam's auntie recently visited and gave him a bit of money, but it's half the amount that he needs. Now, normally I would have just ordered it for him, and it is what it is. But I was like, you've only got half the money. You need to figure out a way to get the other half. And I said, look, like, we don't give him pocket money at the moment. We've not really got to that point. But I did see a guy that said, I don't give my kids pocket money because that makes them kind of think like an employee. I do this, I get paid this, which there's nothing wrong with that. But he said the way in which he's doing it slightly differently, which he thinks is better for their development, is here's a list of things that bring value to me as a parent and into our household. There's a list of value and things that equals money wise. Do as many as you want. So it's like, if you want the money, go and do all those things. If you don't, or you just want to do the 1 or 2 to get your money, then that's what you choose to do. Because you're then thinking about the value that I bring is what I'm worth. Not the time I put in is what I'm worth. So I said that to him. I was like, look, go do some chores and then you can get it. And then he's like, yeah, but I should use my Bitcoin. Mum, I'm rich. I've got Bitcoin. Just use the Bitcoin. I was like, no. I said, you can't. I said, that's the easy way. He went, why can't I do it the easy way? I was like, God, I'm digging a hole for myself, like trying to think, right, here's a great time to do some real parenting.
He's not the best example, is he, of like a standard child. You know what I mean? Exactly. Of what they would answer back. He is definitely
he's quite smart. And I'm like, right, I need to answer that. You know, like when you watch things, you're like, that's a great parenting lesson. Yeah, like I'm trying to think of the good. And I was like, Payson, sometimes you have to do things the hard way. And you're going to be so much prouder of yourself once you've earned it and you've worked hard for it. You're going to enjoy it so much more. And he was like,
Not really. I do that sometimes. You know, when I over-explain, should I say? I sometimes start explaining something, you know, or whatever. And then I'm like, oh, but what about this bit? And then there's this bit. And then there's, you know, like over-explain something. And then I'm even confused. And I'm just like, oh my God, I should have just shut up about it.
I'm trying to parent and I'm confused myself.
Yeah, because you try and think of every other alternative and cover every explanation.
And they have questions, right? Especially like your kid's age, Kayson's age, like you explain something to them that is, but what about that? Yeah. And what if this happens? And what about it? It's just like, you have to have answers for all of it.
Money, I think, because I used to go on so much by the end of it, and then think, I'll just shut up now. So
you're boring me.
They even know what the first thing that's said. I don't even know the first thing that's said. But then later on, they'd probably come back to me. You know, but they've obviously thought about thinking it, and then they'd come back and probably question it.
I think that's the most thing. Yeah, that's the best thing for them is like, get thinking. And I found,
but then I started it all off again. Yeah, my explanation of going from this to this.
Even with the team training, like I was like, these are things that can help you, you know, perform better, do better, you know, some habits, you know, whatever. But then I found myself saying a lot of the time, you know, this is to help you start thinking about things. Yeah, you know, like start analyzing what it is that you're doing, and then you can see areas that you can improve, like, and it's all about thinking and reflecting rather than just always doing. So I think parenting's like that sometimes as well, and coaching. And there's difference, I think, between managers and leaders, and like having a good coach and a leader is that like managers just say, this is what you need to do, go and do this. So you're just like creating like little robots, and there's no kind of thought and care behind it. It's just you're a number, you're a person, go and deliver for me. But the difference with like amazing coaches and leaders is that you give the person the confidence to think that they and help guide them for them to come to the realization of, right, how do you think is the best way forward to achieve that?
No, I've got to do this.
Yeah, but or this is the way you should do it.
I want to do this, and how am I going to do it the best way possible?
Yeah,
in a way.
But managers just tell you this is the way to do it. Go and do it.
Which gives them that feeling of,
it's hard to show you
and really cares.
Yeah, it's a tabale. And you know, but coaches are like, they get you to think. They ask you questions. You come up with, right, I think the best way is if I did this, then maybe that. Okay, do you think that's the best way forward? Or is there, you know, it's like you get them to think for themselves. Then it gives them the confidence, and they've come up with the answers. So that boosts their confidence anyway. And if someone, you know, if you're part of a collection and you all come together with a decision, you're all going to be much more likely to do it because you've been part of that process.
Yeah.
If you just get told, go do that, well, no, that's not the way I would do it. And nobody cares about that. So, you know, you're not as invested.
No, like you say, rather than it be like a to-do list, it becomes more of like a not a challenge, but you know, like a self in the end, a self-achievement as well as your own, you're in a team or for the company or whatever, you know.
And then it snowballs because you've challenged yourself, you feel good about it, you feel confident because, you know, my coach, I've come up with the solution and my coach believes in me. And then, I either achieve it or because I've tried, I'm that step further and then you get more confidence and it just snowballs and goes up from there. And I think the more I've got into coaching and learning about coaching and my qualifications in coaching, it's so well aligned with parenting. It's scary. And like I'm starting to actually try and use that in parenting as well, because it's almost like being a coach and a leader to a little person. Yeah. Like we have to teach them like the, values and morals and lessons, but getting them to like think for themselves.
Which I think we've lost over the years.
Yeah.
Of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like we've lost, Okay, back in the day it was completely like opposite. I know that was
you just get told what to do as a
you know what I
kid,
mean?
you don't think.
Or no, what I mean is like you as a years, I mean before us, like you'd be left to do stuff. So you'd then learn better that way, you know what I mean? But then it went to
you had no support, but you figured it out.
Yeah, it came to the opposite of that, of literally you've got told grown men having their arse wiped still by their parents. Like, you know what I mean? It's literally from that to that.
Everyone knows one of them. Yeah.
You know, and I think, all right, going that far back, maybe not, but like you say, getting them to actually think for themselves, being more imaginative with, you know, because of, I get it, the days have changed and stuff, but as well, I think you can see, personally, I think you can see the effects of that. Do you know what I mean? Well, a great example, Morgan's gone away this week.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a thing for me. Do you know what I mean?
I think that would make me a bit
but this is us now. Do you know what I'm saying? I think back in the day it wouldn't have been a thing because we're just so...
We're exposed to too much info.
Yeah, probably. But at the same time, obviously, we have that. Every child's got a phone these days. Do you know what I mean? Especially their age and upwards.
Yeah.
So that communication, that immediate communication, is always there. First of all, so as a parent side, that at first really concerned me. I was just like, I don't know, but it was a rule that nobody was allowed to take phones. The teachers were making like a canal on an app to be able to send us.
So there was communications from the teachers, but they didn't want any kids.
No phones, basically.
Wow, okay.
And then, like I say, initially I was freaking because, again, Morgan's not the kind of kid who's on his phone that much anyway.
He's got a good balance.
Or Xbox, whatever that is.
You still want to be able to contact your child when
every morning. He's about 3 hours away.
Yes, it's far.
I think it's quite far. So I don't even get out of my town. I was thinking, I let my child burn. And at the same time, he's probably the most likely out of all three of them to not want to stay out anywhere. Yeah, he's quite more of the homeboy.
Yeah, he normally has his friends go to yours.
Exactly. So in being out, you know, or if he does ever go out, we always usually would get a call at whatever
pick him up,
which is fine. But then it comes to things like this,
and they want to do it.
Yeah, of course they do.
And then they're away, and they change their mind.
So in a thing of that, right, at least if he's got a phone, if he ever did get that feeling,
and you're
just
right.
do night. Do you know what I mean? It'll just be me.
For you.
Yeah. But anyway, so there wasn't allowed to take him. As I said, initially it freaked me out, but as obviously the first day went on, I literally had a realization that how good is the fact that I don't know, let's say 100 kids, I don't know how many kids there are, has gone on a trip for 3 days or whatever, especially in these times, and nobody has a phone. I just love that.
Yeah.
The fact that they're literally just going to be kids.
Yeah, because you would have thought they would have maybe said, right, phones in your bags, no one can have them out when we're like, and our kids will be on them all night. But no,
I honestly, he's not home yet, so I couldn't have about everyone, so on. But I know.
But we did school trips like that, and you are like, you're up talking all night, and
we know how it was. I feel like they don't
get to experience.
They don't know any different,
exactly.
And because unless the situations, and I know obviously on news, the English news lately that somewhere. Wales or Scotland or somewhere.
I saw that.
Right? Yeah. Banned. So here it is. Here it's a law.
They have to lock it in a bag, don't they?
Yeah, well,
all day.
Here in Spain, it's actually a law now. It made a law more than a year ago that it's a law that you are not allowed to take your phone.
It's not enforced.
It's not so much, no. It's definitely
the school you're talking about. I've seen pictures where they have to put it in like a lock bag.
Yeah,
well, not like this is read it out the way.
Exactly.
Yes, physically, like you can't go on it, you can't sneak it. Like
I know that when Mason was at his last school, he one of the classes he had to go into, and they all had to put a phone in a box, which I like that idea. I mean, I was quite for it. There were some parents who would just be like, but I just think. Why?
If they're in school, they shouldn't need them. They shouldn't have them. Get them out like as soon as they finish, because for safety, for going home if they're walking.
Well, that was only my reason, because
Mason had. But if you're in school, you shouldn't have to have it. And I think back to when we was at school and we started to get phones. I remember being distracted quite a bit. Now back then we had no internet on our phones. We were texting, which meant we were paying for those texts. We had to have credit, which wasn't always.
We had to think about, do I?
Yeah, exactly. And, we didn't always have credit. These internet things with like WhatsApp and stuff. So even then, phones were distracting because you're texting each other in class. So imagine how easy distracting it is now.
Yeah, because like you say, it's just so accessible and free and whatever else. You know what I mean? It's just going to happen. So that side of it, I love the fact that they have headphones. I can't wait to see him. I can't wait to hear everything. And just literally reminded me, I went on mine was a PGL thing, and it was literally very similar, multi-adventure place. You make up songs on the bus on the way, and you know what I mean?
So many memories.
And I took a
disposable camera.
Yeah, disposable camera writer, and obviously I've all got them in a scrapbook from that. And I said to Morgan about taking one. He was like, "What's that?" I was like, "The camera that you've got to wind up." He didn't have a clue. He didn't have a clue.
A disposable camera.
Yeah, and I thought he's not even allowed to use.
Most kids probably haven't even seen a camera,
which I wish now
because they have them in their phone
that I'd
done it. Yeah,
it was only because literally the day of the thing, it was a thing of I don't know, it just scared them out of it or something. But all of them were like, "No, we're not taking our phone. We're not allowed," which is good because that's respect for the teachers and the rules. Completely love that.
Yeah.
I thought one of them might slip their phone in. Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't seem they have. But I do wish I'd give him that that disposable now, because it would have been just brilliant to just that process of going,
especially at that age,
where they don't,
and it's just a surprise.
You can't check it back. You have to do another one. You can't filter it. Mitch said what he likes about it is that no one can look around taking pictures or videos or what they
like being in the moment.
Yeah,
and I think there's so many things I see now, like kids, especially Morgan's age and a bit older, like actually dying from doing stupid TikTok challenges.
Exactly.
So it's like messing around, I don't know where they are, but jump off that, video
exactly.
It'd be funny, do it, and then you egg each other on or whatever. That would worry me. So it's nice that they don't have that because they're in the moment. And
I have, because phones have pissed me off lately anyway. Not that. That's just an example of...
You sent me a thing. Next week I want to talk about phones on the podcast.
I have to tell you, because... this, obviously, I didn't even... This coming out about Morgan, that was just another experience for me of the phone conversation. But it was that just recently, this isn't even in children, okay? This isn't children.
Right.
And I'm not even going to say it's a generation thing, because sometimes it's not even a generation thing.
Yeah.
It is a more percentage, but sometimes it's not.
It's
sometimes
that person.
Yeah. Fucking rude. And it's I just feel like, do you really need to pick your phone up while I'm talking to you? Like, hello? Like, that for me is
like a one-on-one conversation.
Yeah, but just so desperate to... And I get, sometimes you might be in a conversation with someone or whatever, and for whatever reason, especially over here, if you wait for a bloody appointment for something, you've got to pick that phone up again. You know what I mean? Because so if you're waiting on a call, or I don't know, whatever, I can understand. But genuinely, when people just have a notification of bloody Snapchat or something, and they have to literally pick their phone up to see it, it really drives me insane. Sorry, this is actually another thing. It's not a rant about people being rude, but that is one thing that just made it. So the one thing I want to say to people is just be more attentive to actually life, okay, rather than your phone. Try and do what Morgan did and put it
away for 3 days.
I'm telling you off if you want to get it out.
Yeah.
What was I going to say now? I always do this, no. Oh bloody hell! I'm going to lose it. I don't know.
This is happening to me a lot these last 2 weeks. I mean, mid conversation. Mid conversation. And I just go blank.
Yeah,
which isn't very helpful in the middle of a presentation.
Oh no, I would be like, oh.
It's happened to me 2-3 times, and I don't know if, like, this week obviously I've been super busy, so I'm a little bit more tired, brain fog maybe. But I think I am midpoint, and I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah, that's that. I think sometimes I think ahead of something too much, and then I've already lost what I'm going to say. So that will have to come back. So I message you at like 2 a.m. I know what I was going to say.
That's what I was going to say. But no, you're right. That drives me mad as well. Like, if I'm in the middle of a conversation, especially if it's one-on-one, and someone picks up their phone because it beeps, like, fair enough if your phone's ringing, glance over, oh, it's not important, I'll come back. Or, oh, excuse me, do you mind, like, it's this or whatever, then fair enough. But
I literally talking, like,
mid-conversation.
Talking. Obviously, even if it's not on loud, it's obviously gone off in the pocket or something. Yeah. And then say you're talking, and I'm...
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Seriously, if I don't find it, sorry, it's just...
At least address that person. Like, one, you shouldn't check if you're mid-conversation, having a good conversation. But if you do, because you've checked, like, it's ringing or buzzed, or, oh, sorry, I'm just waiting for this or I'm waiting for that. It's not like,
I mean, between mates is annoying enough, but between mates it's a little bit sorry, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I just think
at work,
or wherever, you know what
people
I mean?
in the chair you're talking about.
Yeah, I've had it occasions literally when I've had patients in the mouth. Bear in mind, I don't really need to come out the mouth that much. And if
you give people the odd little quick break,
just to breathe.
Yeah, and, not like 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, I literally just a second, just to swallow or breathe or whatever,
or to mop you up.
Yeah. And it's literally like but not for like
just a scroll.
It is literally like just a notification off, like a Snapchat or I don't know, something like that. WhatsApp, you know what I mean? But
I mean, I find it hard as well at work. Like if I'm having like a one-to-one meeting with someone, which is important, and their phone rings and they're like, they're looking at an email and now I know it's work related, so I know that they're not just scrolling and ignoring me like super rudely, but it's like the world isn't going to stop. These people you'll get back to them like in 20 minutes.
Well, this is it. So you're not going to be able to.
My time and your time together is precious, so let's respect that together.
You can't deal with that now, and you can't deal with it.
Exactly.
So just like you say, if it's just to look and then okay, that's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or if your phone keeps ringing you, just to check it isn't the school or whatever. I don't know what I mean.
Like, oh, sorry, let me just check that it's not important. Right. What were you saying?
Exactly.
But when you don't even address the person you're talking to, and you're like, just look down.
They even realise it. I don't even think. I think they would think it's a rude thing,
but they don't know that they're doing it.
I honestly do.
That's true.
I honestly do.
The benefit of the doubt.
I am. Yeah, I am. I honestly am.
Yeah. Just to make me calm. And I know that I do it sometimes. Not really to people. To people. Not really to like friends and stuff. Maybe to like Liam. Like if we're sat on the sofa or whatever. Or like I say, I do find myself doing a lot to Kason.
Yeah.
Because if he's busy or like if he's on the PlayStation, for example, but he's talking to me because he wants to show me something.
Yeah.
Mom, look at this. Mom, look at that. And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, what I'm looking at isn't actually that important.
Okay, well that's different.
So I should. Yeah. I've caught myself a couple of times, and I'm like, or if he comes to talk to me, rather than just look up, what I've started to do is actually just so he can see me, eye contact, and put the phone away.
Yeah,
like, you're important. Yeah, and you've got my attention.
Yeah. And left for me, obviously, yours is different because you've got your space, you can say, for that kind of thing. But if sometimes I just need to do something on my phone for work, then for me, just because I don't want to be doing it there all night, I'd either go, just wait a minute because I'm just doing this and I'll be with you.
Yeah.
Like as
I've started to do that as well, Like if it's important, like if I'm in the middle of booking something or I need to respond to like my mum who's actually something,
whatever. Just for them to understand, I will.
But if I'm literally scrolling, then I'm like, right, no, put that down, or give me a minute, I need to do this first. I always go, give me a sec. Okay, Smith, 1 second.
Oh.
He's not doing it. Like,
I know.
It comes across cheeky.
No, I know.
Like, you said 1 second.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that 1 second doesn't mean 1 second.
Yeah, I mean, he's so right.
He's too literal.
He's just pointing out. You're pointing out.
So no, I get that drives me mad as well. And I'm like I say, I'm the one doing it as well, so I'm starting to catch myself.
Yeah, maybe I know that when I'm on my phone,
I would never pick it up and ignore you. I would at least go, I just need to go back to so and so. I know that I don't do that. But like I say, when it's more casual, he's playing like, Mum, watch this, Mum, watch that. If he was like, Mum, I did this, and it was something about school or work, then I would stop. But when it is about showing me this thing on the PlayStation for the 5th time, I'll be like, let's go for
obviously that is different.
But no, even that deserves.
It just felt so desperate. It's only because obviously it happened so. I think it's just happened. Exactly that, and it just made me think, God, do you really need to be that present on your phone for? And again, I get people work, I get people get all of that. Don't get me wrong, but just it was like a bit of felt like a bit of addiction, or a habit, or I don't know, whatever
it is.
And again, that's what I'm saying. Some
probably is
actually. Again, I don't know these, but if these people, but I think if they was explained to these things in a way, if I'd actually pointed it out,
Excuse me, I'm still talking to you.
That they would have actually felt that rude. But again, I genuinely don't think that some people.
No, I think
some people are just rude.
Some people are rude, definitely. But I think you're right. I think we're so used to it now, but there's a lot of times that we don't even realise we're doing this thing.
Well, there was this documentary. I don't know what it's called, but where they took, I'm sure it was a program where they took phones off kids for 2 weeks or 3 weeks in a secondary school.
All right.
And I haven't watched it, but I would love for them to do that. Just for a week or two, and the adults just to see.
Yeah, I've heard something like that, and they did say that it really boosted everything up.
Yeah, just to see, because 3 days is nice for them, but obviously they say, isn't it, like it's 3 weeks to kick a habit. Or something.
Yeah, 21 days to form a habit. But I have heard people where they say that their kids are on it too much, and they've actually started to take it away. It's only the first couple of days that they ask for it because it's a habit. Yeah. And then they said that they're actually shocked at how quickly they do forget about it because they just get into something else. But no, one thing that comes to mind is that I've seen and heard, and it's one of those things that kind of sticks with you, is you have to pay attention to the little things that they want to tell you, because if you don't listen to the little thing, they won't tell you the big things. Yeah. And then it's like, and it is, because to him, that's big for him. Yeah. I don't care about PlayStation and stuff. No. But that's something he loves at the moment. Exactly. So it's like, you have to show them that you're interested so that he continues to keep telling me things. And like you say, at some point, he isn't going to come to me and want to talk to me about those things.
No, which is why I know I know what I'm like. I know this household is very tech. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Where I'm not so much. And I know I can be a little bit negative about it, especially to Milo or Mason, who's very into it kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's what I'm trying to say is technology is great if you use it for the right things, you know, like them kind of. That's how I feel about it. Yeah. But I think most people don't use it for the right things. Do you get what I'm, you know, like in the parent mode, this is again trying to explain everything.
Like that people don't use it with intent. It's just habits and it's laziness. Like I just scroll, and we all do it. Like
same.
I'm not really away with it as well. I think it's just it's natural inside.
Honestly, I do.
But I think you just need to be a bit more intentional with how you spend your time, how long you're in front of it. Every now and then, just putting it down, you know, speaking to the people in the room, you know, those kind of things. Or, you know, I'm only going to go on it for the first hour after work and then I'm putting it away.
Because for people, that's what I'm saying, it's their work, it's everything. So do you know what I mean? Even if you self back, you never switch off, do you, in a way? So exactly. I do get that. But at the same time, you know,
you need to have your own boundaries, because otherwise that phone will suck you in.
That's just my opinion, and that's just my experience over this week. So, you see, with a phone, don't shout at me, Henry.
You said people put it down. You said you do when you pick it up and talk to me.
No. It just literally, you know, just things pop in your head. Like, obviously with work, I'd had them few experiences, and then obviously more than with that, and it all was to do with phone, and I was just like. And then that thing on the telly as well, or what the news or whatever, I'd seen it. And I just thought, I'd just rather mention it, because literally that's how I felt. How I feel.
Yeah, I think that's good. Keep it in mind. Don't abuse it. You know, spend time as a people, but you know, use it for good stuff as well. Yeah. And if you're going to use it to watch us. Yeah. Watch our episodes, like and subscribe.
You can watch and listen, or just listen.
Exactly, yeah. For your visuals or your audio people, however you like to catch us and keep up with us, then please continue. We've had a couple of extra subscribers.
Yes.
Which is nice. And like I say, continue to message us, comment, feed us your questions. We'll bring them up.
Experiences. Like work and phones.
Let us know, or share your questions about what you want to know, and we can answer them next week.
Yeah, we will. Honestly.
Exactly.
Have you warned? See you later. Have a nice weekend.